We're Americans. I mean, first of all, we're Americans. You don't want to burn a flag. I mean, because me and you are American. So you don't want to burn the flag. I mean, because the flag ain't did nothing to you. It's the people that you elected that's harming you. We own many American flags. I mean, that flag has never did anything but sit where I put it at. So it ain't about the flag. It's about the people that say that they represent the flag. The flag represents freedom. And that means that if you're not getting freedom, then the flag's not representing you. How can you kill a man and nothing be done about it? A so-called black man can't kill a so-called black man and get away with it. But a so-called white man can kill a so-called black man and just get away with it. Man, we're just gonna lose your job. And they've been doing this. We profess that the MOOR Science Temple of America is the only way for the so-called black man to come up out of this racism. You know, your so-called white supremacists who think they better than me and you. That's gonna exist. We ain't gonna all have the same ideas. We ain't gonna all see things the same. We ain't gonna all take the same direction, but guess what? We all going to the same place. So that means that we gotta start somewhere, and the best place for you to start is the MOOR Science Temple of America. Come learn the truth about your nationality and your divine creed. Come learn the truth about your citizenship that you think that you have, that you don't. Being called a Negro, blacks, and colors deludes to slavery. It deludes to slavery. That don't mean that you're a slave. It just means that you're not far from it. This is why you're able to murder an individual. If the cameras wasn't there on George Floyd, then these officers wouldn't have been fired. You know, they may have been, relieved of duty with pay. But by they actually murder me, me and you sitting there and watching the murder, now you have no choice but to do something. Now, they did the same thing to Rodney King. They did the same thing to Rodney King. The same thing that they did they just didn't kill Rodney King, but they did the exact same to Rodney King. What they did to Rodney King was they beat him, took him into state court. Remember, Moors, you got to keep up with this state and federal. It's two different things. They took Rodney King into state court. And guess what they did to him in state court? They acquitted everyone. Then they said they violated his civil rights. What did I need civil rights for? If the Constitution applies to everybody, why do I need civil rights? I don't need civil rights as the Constitution applies to me. Why? Because the Constitution protects me. When you look at the Dred Scott decision, he sued him in state court. Then they appealed it and appealed and appealed, and it got to Supreme Court. Roger B. Tanner, the Supreme Court justice, told Dred Scott and his attorney that he has no rights that the white man is bound to respect. I mean, it's a Supreme Court justice. The Supreme Court is not racist. There's no racism in the Supreme Court. It has nothing to do with race. They interpret the law. They interpret y'all know what the Supreme Court is for. The Supreme Court is there to interpret the Constitution of the United States of America. And when they told Dred Scott that he has no rights that a white man was bound to respect, they was interpreting the Constitution. They wasn't no, when I'm sitting up here and I'm racist. Roger B. Tanner may have been racist. But he was a Supreme Court justice, and his job as a Supreme Court justice is what? Interpret the Constitution of the United States of America. This ain't personal. I mean, Dred Scott being free or enslaved didn't make no difference to Roger B. Tanner. It's just another a black man in America. That didn't make no difference to him. The Constitution is what you're supposed to be interpreting. And that's what they did. And our people still don't get it to the day that it's the Constitution. You have no constitutional right. The 14th Amendment, which gives you certain citizenships, but it gives you certain citizenships in the state in which you reside in. The state of Texas can't give me citizenship of the United States of America. There's two United States. You got the United States of the 13 colonies, And then you have the United States when Texas joined and when Louisiana joined. So that's a whole nother United States. So it's 2 United States. I mean, a lot of this stuff is plain to me because I've been in the Moor Scientific America for a long time. Brothers and sisters gonna argue, brothers and sisters gonna debate, because we always debating with each other when we should be sitting down finding out why this stuff is able to transpire. Man, you gotta go back in history to find out what's going on today. Because I wasn't in slavery. So I don't really know what it feels like to be in slavery until they killed George Floyd. Then I finally felt it. I mean, all the brothers they killed, Trayvon Martin, all them brothers that got murdered, I got real feelings about slavery when they killed George Floyd. And I sit there and actually watch the murder. Then I'm telling myself that, man, this must be the way that the slaves felt when they was forced to stand there and watch a European murder one of their own. It's really inhumane for an officer of the law to hold somebody down that long and for an individual to be crying, I can't breathe. Please help me. Mama. I mean, when you call your mama, man, that's some real distress. I mean, I've actually been in that situation before where the cops done grabbed me, throw me on the ground, put their foot on my neck and handcuff me. I mean, I know what it feels for just for a few seconds, So I can't even imagine what this brother was going through where I'm talking about here's an officer of the law who's sworn to protect me, murder me. If that's not upsetting to that should be upsetting to the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Japanese, the Asians, the Indians. That should be upsetting to everybody. But everybody's not upset about it because it's not affecting everybody. But what they don't realize, man, you've been going through this here, since America. I don't want to say since we come over here because we've been here. But we've been going over that since the so-called European been in power over here. We've been going through that. This racism. Why would you, if you say that you're superior to me, then why do you have to treat somebody inferior to you in that manner? So that means you don't really believe what you're saying. It must be something really great about me that makes you want to keep me down. It must be something really good about me that you refuse to allow me to get up. But we're going to change that with the Moor Scientific America and the Prophet Noble Brutality. We're going to teach America about their nationality and their divine creed. We're going to teach the so-called black man that your citizenship is not predicated on what you think it is. Come learn what citizenship really is at the Moor Scientific America. We're going to teach you about how to make things change and how to put the people in power that's going to really make a change in this country because what they're doing is legal. Yeah. I mean, you can get upset about it, but what they're doing is not illegal. A lot of the things that they're doing in this country is legal. According to the Constitution of the United States, when you are calling yourself a Negro, a black, a color, African American, what they doing is, according to the Constitution, because I know y'all ain't gonna get this here, but the Constitution of the United States was written at a time where our people was in slavery. When they wrote the Constitution, they didn't have our people in mind because they wasn't writing the Constitution for slaves. And so they didn't write me and you into the Constitution, but they left a door open. And that door that they left open, that's the one that the Prophet Noble Brutality walked through for me and you. But me and you taking it for granted. Why? Because you thinking about the past. Well, slavery, man, all that stuff is important. That slavery, that Constitution, that Emancipation Proclamation, the Missouri Compromise, Dred Scott, all of that stuff is important. But you in 2020 and you thinking that stuff is irrelevant. Man, that stuff, you got to bring that stuff up here, understand it, and watch how your life change. I'm telling you what I know. I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I've got all the success that I've ever had because of Prophet Noble Brutality and these teachings. That's who makes me understand citizenship. That's who makes me look at all laws. I don't just look at city. I look at every law. City laws, state laws, municipal laws, federal law. I look at everything. Why? Because the prophet got my eyes open. And he can open your eyes too. the brothers and sisters, the marching and the protesting, that's cool. That ain't gonna change no law. You know, the mayor coming out and the police chief coming out. I mean, and I commend them brothers. That ain't gonna change the law. That ain't gonna stop them from next week killing another brother. And matter of fact, they've already killed another brother. So that didn't stop it. If y'all want to learn how to stop this here, come on out to the MOOR CITIZENSHIP of America and let me show you in law, the law. We can do this together. You ain't got no citizenship as a Negro, black, and a color. Man, this stuff here has been happening. Come on, man, they did it to Emmett Till for looking at a European woman. So this is what's going on. Everybody's in an uproar. It's just that we're in an uproar now because we seen it. I feel it. You know, I feel like, hey, man, I was in the slavery days. I've seen somebody get lynched personally, and that's painful. But as a Moorish American, I know it's painful to see it. But in all reality, they've been getting away with murder since before slavery, since during slavery, after slavery, they've been getting away with murder because me and you, we don't fit in. That's what the founding fathers did. I mean, the Constitution is made up of 7 articles. It's never changed. And the Negroes, blacks, and the colors, and all those other undesirables was written outside of the Constitution. They wasn't written into the Constitution. So the Constitution covered the 13 colonies. It didn't cover Texas and Louisiana, it covered the 13 colonies. So by covering the 13 colonies, everybody in the 13 colonies is protected. Now, you protect it because this federal jurisdiction. See, you got jurisdictions, you know, and you got federal jurisdiction. You got different jurisdictions. You got local, municipal, state, and federal. You got all these different jurisdictions, and inside all these jurisdictions, everybody has the power, but the federal government is the power. The state of Texas has power. Say, like, for instance, if I commit a crime and the FBI decide to come in, they can take me away from the state because they have the power. If you're born in the state of Texas gives you citizenship. But it don't automatically give you citizenship when you come connected to the 13 colonies. See, the 13 colonies is the original United States. Just think about this here. You from Texas, you have a Texas driver's license. If I was a citizen of the whole United States, then when you think about it, my Texas driver's license is no good in Louisiana. So think about, you know, we get honest to the Prophet Noble Dred Lee because all this information comes about because of his teachings and how he set this thing up so that me and you can get back what we lost. That needs to stop. I mean, you can't put a European in our neighborhood. You can't put a European cop in an all so-called black neighborhood because he don't know our ways. You know, he automatically think that we all criminals. And that ain't right. There's nothing wrong with protesting and marching. It's the action and the laws that has to be changed. It's the people that you put in office. I mean, your Sheila Jackson Lees, your Harold Duddens, you putting people in office that's sitting in a chair and ain't doing nothing for the communities or nothing for the people. I mean, they going in because every state, city, or federal job that you get, you join a society. Yeah, when you become mayor of the city, you join a city society, and you have to go according to the charter. When you become governor of the state, you join a society, and you have to go according to the charter. So even though I put him there, the rain don't trickle down to the people. The people are always suffering. Why? Because you put somebody in office, you think that they gonna, okay, so he built a bridge. But what did he do for your community? I mean, your community, when you put somebody in office, the community is supposed to change in some type of way. The community, especially the so-called black community, never change. I'm from across that bridge in 5th Ward. The community done got worse. I'm talking about we done went from, at one time the community was a nice community where you could sleep with your doors open, and now, I mean, the community is man, it's poor. But we study electing officials that they not doing nothing for us. You know, we give honors to Obama for winning the election, but him winning the election, it didn't do nothing for me. It didn't do nothing for George Floyd. Come on. So a so-called black man won the election. What did it do for us? Nothing. Since he's been out of office, how many people done been murdered? While he was in office, how many people of us was murdered? So him being in office, what did it benefit me and you? The first so-called black man became, when I'm saying so-called, because President Obama had a nationality. Yeah, see, that's what we missing. Y'all trying to call President Obama a black man. President Obama is a Kenyan American. He has a nationality. And so he supported, you know, that's why he's able to move around with such freedoms. I mean, as a former president, I mean, he gonna move around with much freedom as he want to because he earned that. But President Obama also joined a fraternity when he became president of these United States. They got rules and regulations for the presidents of these United States. Language, all these things is language. When I say so-called white man and so-called black man, I'm saying that so that you understand what I'm saying. I'm gonna say, instead of saying the so-called white man, I'm gonna say the European. Instead of saying the so-called black man, I'm gonna say MOOR. So now that you better understand what I'm talking about, but for you people, you brothers and sisters and Europeans that's out there that's gonna think that I'm being a particular way, I'm just saying so-called white man so you can understand who I'm talking about. And I say so-called because that's what you calling it, but that's not who he is. I'm saying so-called black man because that's what we've been labeled as, but that's not who we are. You know, we are Moors. You know, myself, I'm a Moorish American. So therefore, I have a nationality. Therefore, I am tied to a nation. And therefore, that's what we're trying to teach our people now. Their nationality and their divine creed, we're trying to bring them back home to their ancient forefathers so that this will stop. The only way the murder is going to stop, the only way the police brutality is going to stop, is we're going to have to change the way that we think and see things. We're going to have to quit being Negroes, blacks, and colors. I mean, the marching and the protesting, that's cool. You know, but when that die down, so does everything else. You know, we only march and protest when they do something they shouldn't have did. But if me and you would march and protest and make the laws change and go in the boots and put the right people in office, then me and you ain't gonna have to march and protest. There's no reason that the people that's supposed to be serving and protecting me, because they get paid with taxpayers' money. And then you murder me as a taxpayer? I'm the one paying your salary, so the same people that's supposed to protect and serve me, those are the same people that I'm afraid of. There's not a so-called black man in America that's not afraid at midnight to get stopped by a European policeman because you don't know the outcome. I don't know the outcome. I won't even ride the streets at midnight. Why? Because, I mean, even though I'm not a criminal, I don't commit crime, but that brother wasn't committing a crime and he got murdered. And that's how we all feel. We all feel that at any given time, I can be murdered by somebody who's supposed to be serving and protecting me. And that's not a good feeling in America. And the so-called European, the so-called white man and Europeans in America, they think they know how we feel. You don't. Because it makes no sense that I'm already out here having a hard time and Europeans are having a hard time, but the shade of my skin makes it harder. You know, just because of this, just because of the shade of my skin, it makes my life that much more harder. And that makes no sense over here in a country, a home of the free and the land of the brave. That makes no sense to me. So in order for us to change this here, Prophet Noble Dred Ali. Prophet Noble Dred Ali has the perfect solution. Look at all that trash on the street. You know how long that trash been on our streets? But then you solicited my vote and said you're gonna clean up my community. Trash been on the street for almost a month. It's just why? Because you don't really care about our community. Man, they take so much advantage of us. Man, they walk in our communities and they solicit our votes. We need to put people in office that care about our community. So that means that the people that we want to put in office is people from our community. We want to stop putting people in office that's not from our community. quit feelings when he black. What that mean? What does that mean? Because you know how many so-called black people try to get over on me on a daily basis, so all black people don't mean us no good? And man, you gotta know that, and man, you gotta do something about that. Starts with voting for the right people. I mean, you got a black mayor, and I think the chief of police is, I'm not sure of if he's Mexican or if he's from another Spanish-speaking country, but you would think that would make things better. It don't. Why? Because Sylvester Turner is in office, and Sylvester Turner is benefiting Sylvester Turner more than he's benefiting the community. Just keep it real. Now, the police chief, I commend him because I actually see him quite a bit. You know, he's not one of them police chiefs that don't show up. You know, he show up for the good and the bad. And one thing about the police chief in Houston, he'll back up off of something. If he say something and he find out that it was wrong, this police chief is man enough, he'll back up off of it. Noble Drew Ali shows you how to become a first-class citizen, how to make the Constitution apply to you. Yeah, we know. I absolutely can explain to you everything when it comes to becoming a United States citizen. I ain't talking about just the state you reside in. I'm talking about of these United States. I'm gonna show you how to enjoy this milk and this honey. Yeah. I'm gonna show you how to this free and this brave stuff they talking about. That's what Noble Drew Ali taught us. You know, Noble Drew Ali, you have to get honest with this, bro. This is the most prolific individual to walk on this planet. And that's taking nothing away from Jesus, Muhammad, Martin, Malcolm. It's taking nothing away from the work that they did, but the work that they did, nobody's work compares to what Noble Drew Ali did over in America. Nobody compares. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a member of the MOOR Scientific of America. I'm saying that because in 30 years, I found everything right about this movement. Because this movement is the movement that's going to put our people in line with these United States and this Constitution. Your nationality has been in existence since 1913, since the Prophet Noble Drew Ali come over here. It's just that me and you have been so caught up on us, we so caught up on fashion and the way things are going, we ain't paying no attention to those things that's important to me and you. There's a nationality that's already in existence. There's a nationality that already ties you into the Constitution. There's a nationality that already does all the things that's necessary for you to be a first-class citizen. It's been here since 1913. It was founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. There's a MOOR Science Temple of America in almost every state of these United States. A real MOOR Science Temple of America. Make sure that you're dealing with a real MOOR Science Temple of America, not those brothers and sisters who's out here getting you for $300 and giving you paperwork and talking about you're a sovereign citizen. I mean, some stuff just don't make no sense to me. You think that you need a flag. A flag is already in existence. You think that you need a constitution. The Constitution already exists. You think that you need a plan. A plan has been in place since 1913. It's just that you need to quit looking outside and come inside and get all the information that you need. One of the things that me and you don't want to do is we don't want to commit. Me and your biggest problem is we don't want to commit. We want to do what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it. Nations don't move like that. It's not a nation in a country that moves like they want to, when they want to, how they want to. They move according to the nation. And so if you want this flag and this Constitution and this plan, then you got to be prepared to sacrifice. And if you're not willing to sacrifice, it's going to do you no good to have a flag, a Constitution, or a plan if you're not willing to sacrifice. Me, I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm willing to sacrifice for my nation, and the United States of America is my nation. I'm a Moorish American in the United States of America, and this is my country. This land that I stand on, this land belongs to me, just as well as it belongs to any other first-class citizen. So, therefore, if you serious, then come on down to the MOOR Science Temple of America and let us show you what it takes to put your plan in action, because we already got it, to put your flag into existence because it's already due, to put the Constitution into the play because it's already playing. It's just that me and you been playing for so long, and we be listening to certain people, certain Negro leadership, and I'm gonna call them certain Negro leadership because they leading you in a certain Negro way. And they probably know who I'm talking about, these Negroes that show up when the cameras are running. Y'all need to step away from them Negroes and walk over here with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali so that you can see the real light. So you can open your eyes up to that which is really going on over here in these United States.